So, Tom, do you want to explain a little bit about tonight, how it's going to play out, who's going to be asking the questions?
Absolutely. Preparations are well underway here in Leigh for this special event, the People's Forum with Liz Truss, compared by Alistair Stewart, of course. It starts at 5 p.m. It will run for an hour. And Alistair's been very, very clear. He doesn't want to sort of get in the way of the questions, of the interactions between the people in the audience and Liz Truss. This is very much a people-focused event. Alistair will be acting sort of as an umpire, as a referee, rather than as a nabbing to participant. And so we're going to really get that true interaction between the candidate, the front-runner, frankly, in this race to be Prime Minister, and the real people here of the North West, who are going to be asking some pretty piercing questions on the issues that really affect people up and down the country. It's going to be a pretty special, pretty interactive event. People coming from the area, of course, of different backgrounds, of different ages, who will be asking their questions directly of Liz Truss. We'll have analysis as well in a special programme following the People's Forum special. That will be with Michelle Dewberry from 6 until 7. So it's really quite a special evening here we're getting prepared for now up in Leigh, really getting those searching questions of Liz Truss, and hopefully not just a question that can be asked from a member of the public, but also a bit of interaction too. Let's get those follow-ups. Let's really pin down what could well be happening with the governance of this country over the next 2 years.
And who's in the audience? Yes, GB News viewers, but have you got them of a political persuasion? Are you balancing the audience out, or is it just people who live locally?
Now, this is an audience made up of people who have written in to GB News. We've been plastering the television screens and social media and the email lists and everything with this event for the last couple of weeks. Now, I've just been in the back room of this event here, sort of listening into just some of the final preparations of making sure everyone can get to the venue. And the audience, yes, will be all sorts of people who watch GB News. So that's not just Conservative members, not even just Conservative voters. We'll be hearing from an array of people. Now, I must stress, no polling company has chosen this audience. This is people who have written in to GB News, who would like to ask questions of one of those two candidates to be Prime Minister. So we're going to see as a pretty authentic mishmash of people who watch this channel. It'll be really interesting to see the kind of questions and the kind of perspectives that they bring to this conversation. Hopefully, it will have a bit of a different feeling to some of those other events that we've seen, some of those events potentially with just Conservative members or with audiences selected by other broadcasters. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit of a different perspective tonight and some questions that hopefully might not have been asked of these candidates before.
And Tom, do you think Liz will be coming in with a bit of a spring in her step? 10 MPs came out for today. One MP, Chris Skidmore, has moved from Team Rishi to Team Liz.
Yes, it's a pretty seismic moment in this campaign when there's a defection. Of course, this is the second defection of an elected politician. There was a member of the Welsh Assembly who last week defected from Rishi to Liz, and now Chris Skidmore today defecting from Rishi to Liz. Now, it must be said that Chris Skidmore was quite quiet after the initial MP rounds. He said that he supported Rishi in the MP rounds, but switched to Liz after what he says were some changing stances on the economy from Rishi Sunak. Now, the Liz Truss campaign has been very keen to get some of these defectors, and there are some rumours that there might be one or two more. Perhaps it's unsurprising given how far ahead the opinion polls say that Liz Truss is in, but it also means that it's a broad coalition of support for Liz Truss. Now, that could be a positive. Her team certainly argue that it is, but also it's pretty unwieldy to keep together. Chris Skidmore is one of the big pro-net zero voices in the Conservative Party, and he's supported supporting Liz Truss, but of course the other people supporting Liz Truss are some of those most sceptical of the net zero agenda, Lord Frost, for example. So how she can keep this very broad coalition together, how she can please these two ends of the spectrum of the party will be a crucial test for her, a crucial question for her as well. And just one other big question that, of course, we've been hearing so much of today. We're hearing that the energy price cap is going to more than double, potentially triple from where we are used to seeing it. What is Liz Truss's plan to deal with those who perhaps don't pay any tax, who are perhaps the most vulnerable in society? Will there be any cash handouts? The Rishi Sunak campaign has accused the Liz Truss campaign of potentially U-turning on this issue, of being murky on the details. Will we see some clarity tonight? That's another big question.